Okay, this class lecture is going to go along with Chapter 8, Section 3, continuing our work with markdown, selling price, and markdown percentages. Our first example in the book is number 1. They give us the original selling price of $189.95, the markdown amount $28.50, and the selling price of $161.45. And they got that by simply subtracting the markdown amount of the markdown from the original selling price. And then they got the percentage by taking the part, or the markdown amount, over the original amount. So they set up the problem of $28.50 over $189.95 and simply divided that to get the 0.15 that they changed to a percent of 15. So number 2 in the book, they give us the sale price and they give us the original price, but they didn't give us the markdown amount. In order to solve that, then, we would just simply subtract what we sold it for from what we had it originally listed, and the difference then, of course, is the markdown amount. So if we subtract that, $37.50, then we would get $16.38. So $16.38 would go in to that spot. And then they're also asking us for the markdown percentage. Well, the markdown percentage again is going to be part over the whole. So we would set up a problem 1638 over 5388, part over the whole, and simply divide that. So when we do that, we're going to get 0.304, which we change to a percentage, 30.4%. Okay, number 4 slightly different, so I wanted to show you that, where they don't give you the sale price, they don't give you the markdown amount, but they do give you the markdown percentage. So in order to solve the markdown amount, they said that was 30%. So when we put it in here to their calculator, we would just simply take 264.95 times the 30%, and we're going to get 79.48. Notice the 5, a lot of times you'd round up, but in business they don't want to give that extra penny to the customer, so they're going to keep that as 79.48. okay, so they're going to round to the business's favor. And then you would just simply subtract 264.95, subtract the markdown amount, and then the sale price is going to be the difference then of 185.47. Okay, so it's pretty straightforward. So just change this to a decimal, multiply in order to get the markdown amount, and then subtract to get the sale price. Number 8 is again slightly different, so I wanted to kind of show you that one. As a necklace there, the markdown amount is $155. The sale price was $235. Well, in order to get the sale price, they took the original price, subtracted the markdown in order to get the sale price. So in order to get the original, we would just work backwards then. We would just simply add these two up. So we would go this direction in the problem. And then that, so if we add these two up, 155, 235, gives us a total of 390. So 390, subtract that, then would give us this. So just everything will work forwards and backwards. So now we need to find the markdown amount. Well, again, we're going to take the part over the whole and simply divide. So when we do that, do it on our calculator again here. So keeps going away on me here. 155 divided by 390. Okay, again we're going to move it over 2 spots, so 39.7%. Excuse me. Okay, let's look at a couple of the word problems. This is number 12 there. A Blu-ray disc that originally sold for $34.88. Target was marked down by $12.11. What was the sale price? Well, that's a pretty straightforward question. Subtracting then would give us then, what here we got? 22.77. Okay, well that's pretty straightforward. So then they ask, what is the markdown percentage? Well, if they marked it down by this, and that's going to go over what, right? The original amount. Okay, so when you do that, you just simply divide this by this, put it in your calculator. You're going to get a decimal, 3471. And then when we move that over, remember, we're going to become then 34.7%. Okay, so that answers that question. Okay, let's do one with the spoilage rate, because that's one of the examples in there that's a little bit more tricky. And I'd like you to pay attention when you read through that section, because that has a couple of steps in there. So let's look at number 20. So number 20 says that Prestige Produce produces 460 pounds of sweet potatoes at 76 cents per pound. If a 10% spoilage rate is anticipated, what is the price per pound the sweet potatoes should be sold to achieve a 35% markup based on the selling price? So a couple of the steps we need to do on this. First off, we need to find out how much money they've spent already. So they had 460 pounds and it was 76 cents. And so how much did he put out initially here for the sweet potato? So we just multiply that through. So we'd have 349.60, and again, you're just doing that on your calculator. So that's what he's paid, the store has paid out so far. He wants to have a 35% markup. So remember, the formula with that is that your cost is going to be that 100% minus your markup percent. So as we figure these numbers in here, we have our costs, we just figure that out. So that's going to be on the top. So our 100% minus our markup percent, they have that, percent markup, SP there, they have that in the book. Okay, so we have that because they gave that to us. Where it is 35%. So we have 100 minus 35 gives us 65. So I'm just going to write that again, 49.65. And again, that's a calculator problem. So we just take our cost minus our markup percent. Again, we'll put it in the calculator, and we're going to have 537.85. That's what we hope to get when we sell all of this. But we have one more step to the problem, because we have a spoilage rate that we need to deal with. So we have our cost, and they said we're going to lose 10%. Well, 10% of 460 is 46 pounds. We would just take our 460 times 0.10, and then of course there's our spoilage, 46. So then we would subtract that then, and we would have then a total of 414 pounds left to sell, because we're going to lose 10%, right, for the spoilage. So we have that number. In order to find our cost per pound, we take how many pounds we're now going to have divided by the cost that we want, and again, it's a calculator. 537 over the 414. Again, we put it in our calculator, and we're going to get $1.30 per pound is the selling price that we should sell the sweet potatoes for. So there's 2 or 3 steps in there. It's laid out pretty good in the examples. You just have to kind of go slow and easy. It's just kind of a multi-step problem in order to solve it. So again, read through the examples. They're well done, and have fun with these.